Hey everybody, welcome back to Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. This video is called Text Formatting and Styling. In this lecture, we're going to learn about using CSS to format and style our text. So create a new folder on your desktop called lesson_7. And in that folder, create a new file, HTML file called text.html. And give it the basic structure, the doc type, the structure, the title of text styling and formatting, link a file called styles.css, and then create a new file called styles.css within your lesson 7 folder. Let's start by adding some HTML that we can work with in our CSS. I'm going to add a level 1 heading and say text styling. And then a paragraph tag, and we're just going to put some lorem ipsum in there. You can copy and paste lorem ipsum from your favorite lorem ipsum source. It could be Hipster Ipsum, could be Lipsum.com. You could even download a little tool that's called Little Ipsum. That's the app called Little Ipsum, and then it installs a little toolbar up here in your, if you're using a Mac, it installs up here in your toolbar, and then you could just copy and paste your lorem ipsum just like this. So I just copied it to my clipboard, and then I could paste it in here, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add a level 2 heading and just say a block quote. And let's put a block quote. And I'm just going to put some more lorem ipsum in there. And then a level 3 heading, more text styles, paragraph text, and I'm going to say some text in here with some extra tags such as a span tag. So I put span tag within a span tag, if you could see what I mean there. Simple emphasis, wrap that in an M tag. Don't forget strong emphasis, wrap strong emphasis with a strong tag, and of course a link, and a link will obviously be a link. And let's just make the href google.com. Okay, so save that, and let's just see what your HTML looks like. So very, very plain and unstyled, and of course not very attractive, but we have the basic kind of text structure here to work with, and we're going to use our styles.css file to do some formatting here. So in your styles.css, I've just created a comment up here just to show you a new way of adding a comment. It's the same, you just put it between these two little characters here. You put the / and then asterisk, and then you close it with an asterisk and a /, and then you can put whatever in between. So I just said lesson 7 CSS, my name, website, and the date that I've been working on this file. Okay, so let's add another comment here and say simple CSS reset, just so we know what this is. And we're going to do that really basic reset here, but we're just going to add a little bit more to it. So margin 0, padding 0, font weight normal, and font size 16 pixels will be the base font size for everything. And let's just check to see if that worked. Save that and check out your HTML. There you go. So nothing has styles. You can see even the headings don't have any font weight. They're all the same font size. It's just all clumped together. It looks pretty bad, but this is a really great place to start. All right, let's move on to the body. And we're going to do a little cleanup here, and then we're going to jump right into the text formatting. Let's say the padding of the body is going to be 40 pixels. We're going to have 40 pixels all around the content of the body. Font family, let's make it Georgia, Times, and then serif. And then the color will be 353535, so a kind of a nice gray. Check it out. So there we go. We've got some padding around the content here. And we're using Georgia. We still don't have any more formatting on the text, but now we have a beautiful blank slate to work from. Okay, let's start with a grouping selector that selects all the headings, H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And margin, 10 pixels, 0. That's 10 pixels on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. Okay, font family, Helvetica, Arial, and sans serif. Let's just check that out. Okay, looking pretty good so far. All right, now we start getting into the formatting. So font weight is something that you might have seen me use, and I actually used in this CSS style sheet already. But font weight, I'm going to say bold, and I have a note on font weight for you here. The other values that you can use are bolder and lighter, and other values are 100, 200, 300, and 400. These all equal normal if you just put font weight normal. And these next ones, 500, 600, 700, are the equivalent to bold. If you put bold here, you can also put 5, 6, or 700. And for heavier weights, 800 and 900. And it's good to note that these weights are not all supported. They're not supported in all fonts. And in fact, some of these might not be either. Some fonts literally just have normal and bold. Those are the options. But if you're using specific fonts, specifically ones that you might be using, like say Typekit, you have a font service that allows you to use some really cool fonts, or Google Fonts, they might have more font weight options like 200 or 600 or 800. So that's kind of the note about font weight. Let's continue on here. The level 1 heading, I'm going to say font size 3M. So if you remember me talking about this in a previous lecture, M's are basically math to what the base font size is. So 3M would equal 3 times the base font size of the document. And in our case, it's 16 pixels because we set that up here in our CSS reset. So 3M is 16 times 3. So that's what this is doing here. So let's see what we have so far with our grouping selector of the headings and the level 1 heading, and check it out. So there we go. The level 1 heading is nice and big. And we have the margins there in between everything. Looks good. Let's move on to the level 2 heading. Font size 2M. And this one is actually 2 times the base font size because it's 2M. Let's do level 3 heading. And let's do font size 1.5M. And that is 1.5 times the base font size. Letter spacing, this is a new one. I'm going to put -1 pixels, and you can either use normal or a value in here, like 1 pixel, -1 pixel, 2Ms, -2Ms, and the letter spacing is the space between each letter. So I'll show you here on your level 3 heading, you can see that it's tighter in between the text here, in between the letters. It's kind of a little more squished together. And that's just an example. I can make this, say, for example, -3 pixels, and you'll see what that looks like. It's all squished together even more. You can go the opposite way and have a positive value like 3 pixels, and you have more space between the letters, and so on and so forth. But that is letter spacing. Word spacing is another one. And word spacing can be either normal or a value as well, kind of like the letter spacing. You can put pixels, Ms, percentages, and whatever, and it looks like this. You're adding space between each word. So I have 10 pixels between each of the words in this element that I'm styling. Another style that you can add here is text align. Center is one that I'm going to use, and it can be left, center, right, or justify. You might be familiar with that from basic Word, like text applications like Microsoft Word or Apple Pages or so on and so forth. But I'm going to center it, and so then you see it's centered. Let's move on to the block quote. Margin 000, 30 pixels. That's going to give us 30 pixels on the left of this block quote. This is just for a cleanup. Let's check it out. So there we go. We've got 30 pixels on the left. Okay, so let's add a font style. This is another text formatting style here. I'm going to say italic. And that can be either normal or italic, like I've used here. And in this case, I've used italic, so you'll see that I've italicized the block quote. Another option is text indent, and I'm going to say 80 pixels. And text indent basically indents the first line of the paragraph. It can be a length, or it can be a percentage. So I just put 80 pixels. So you can see here the first line is indented. Line height, here's another one. 1.3 is the value I'm going to add, and I have another note here on line height. Line height is how tall the lines of the text are within an element. You can use a simple numeric value like 3, which will make the line height 3 times the height of the font size. So it kind of works like ems in that way. You can also use a length like pixels or ems, and you can also use percentages. So I've used line height 1.3, so the line height in the block quote is going to be 1.3 times the font size. And so you see there's just a little bit more space in between here. I'll show you a more drastic example so you can see. If I put 3.3 and saved it, there's a huge line height, and it doesn't look very good, but that's how it works. I'm going to go back to 1.3 so it looks better. There we go. All right, now down to the last few tags here. Let's do the span tag. Text decoration is another one. I'm going to say line through just as an example. And I have a note on text decoration. You can use the following values: underline, overline, line through, or none. So the span tag here, I've styled and said line through. And so there's a line through. It's like a strike through. And you could use that for whatever purpose you find it necessary. Let's go to the M tag and say text transform, capitalize. So I'm going to use text transform, and I have a note on text transform. You can use the following values: uppercase, lowercase, capitalize, or none. Uppercase is all of the letters in the element. Lowercase is all the letters in the element. Capitalizes the first letters in each word. None does nothing. If you say, for example, you specified paragraph tags to be uppercase, but you only wanted the M to be lowercase, or you wanted no text decoration or text transform on the M tag, you could just say none, and it will override the style that its parent had. And let's check that out. Simple emphasis. So this was all lowercase before, but I said capitalize, so each of the first letters in each word is uppercase or capitalized. All right, and let's do the strong tag and say text transform. Let's use another example, uppercase, and font weight bold. So let's see what that looks like. Uppercase, and it's bold. So that's how those styles work. And last but not least, the A tag. Let's say the color, I want to change the color to 3CA. And text decoration, none. So I don't want any text decoration. I don't want an underline at all. So there we go, new color and no underline. So there we go. That is the text styling and formatting lesson. Quick little run through here. We added a CSS reset. We learned about font weight, font sizes, letter spacing, word spacing, and text align, text indent, line height, text decoration, text transform. Those are kind of all of the text styles and formats you'll use in CSS to make your websites, or the typography more specifically, a little bit more beautiful. And you can use that to your advantage to make some really great looking websites. So I'll see you in the next lecture.